my little Brushflies, welcome back to my channel Brushfly MUA. If you're new here, hi. My name is Mercedes, I'm the face behind Brushfly MUA, and if you are new, then remember to hit that subscribe button, and if you're not, welcome back. I just nearly dropped all the makeup that is sitting in my lap. That would not be good. So today's video, my top 10 spring eyeshadow palettes. So these are all eyeshadow palettes that I have in my personal collection. I haven't gone and bought these specifically for this video. These ones I've had in my collection for some time. A couple of them are newer to me, but they're the ones that I think the colour stories would really suit springtime, this time of year. I did do one of these videos last year, so they could potentially be one or two crossovers where I said they were good for spring last year and I've pulled them out again. But there are quite a lot that I know I tried later on in the year and early this year, so I know they wouldn't have been in last year's video. So let's jump straight in. I'm not going to do it in like a specific number order. I'm just going to grab any old palette and say that this one is a good spring one, because, you know, I'm not ranking them, I'm just saying which ones I think are good. So I have the Makeup Obsession Angel Energy palette. This one I reviewed last year and I got so many comments on my looks using this palette, but also on the video using this. Like, people really liked this palette and I can see why. Like, it definitely has more springtime vibes with like the pastel green, like the corally salmon colour, that one, the pink, the light blue, the purple, the pinks. This column is the only column that I think didn't really suit this palette, and I remember saying that when I reviewed it. It's quite dark and jarring compared to the rest of the palette, but I definitely think the rest of this palette is brilliant for springtime. You can create a nice range of looks. So yeah, that one is in my springtime eyeshadow palettes. The next one is by Aldi Lacura. So this is their Naturals Nectar palette. So this is a very honey inspired golden neutral toned palette. It is a dupe for the Urban Decay honey palette. This is actually a really nice palette. The formula is good and it actually does quite remind me of the Urban Decay formula. Like, it's not too heavily pigmented, but it gives you a nice subtly pretty look. This one I received on, I think it was Valentine's Day, or was it Mother's Day? I think it was Valentine's Day, I'm not 100% sure, but I know I got it this year. But I think this is a really good one for springtime makeup looks, and the formula is good, so yeah, definitely recommend that one for springtime. Next up, I actually have an Urban Decay one. So this is the Naked Cyber palette. So I reviewed this at the beginning of the year. I bought it when I got some Christmas money. And other than like this really dark red tone, I definitely think this palette screams spring. I mean, you have the quite muted, soft shades, you know, nothing's too real heavy. It's not going to be too vibrant and in your face, and even the duochromes at this end, they just add a real nice subtly pretty dimension to the eye. But it's such a soft coloured palette that I definitely think it suits more springtime looks. You know, it's just got that vibe to it, I think, and I do actually really enjoy this palette. I think when I do my next Shop My Stash, I might have to pull this one out again because I do really enjoy that. Next up, I have the e.l.f. Mint Melt Mint Bee palette. So I definitely think the colour story of this one, well, bar the darker shade, the lighter shades are definitely springtime, but the darker shade does add more dimension to the eye when you use it. I really like the formula of this. Yes, with this really pastel shade, you do have to use a proper white base on the eye to make it pop. A lot of people moaned that it didn't really do much, but you do have to proper prep the eye before you use this palette. But the shimmer shades in this are lovely, and it does really scream spring to me because it's just that kind of minty, pastel-y, Easter eggy type colour. So yeah, I definitely think this one's cute enough for Easter and spring. This is the Iheart Revolution Pistachio Cream Mini Chocolate Palette. So although there are some darker shades in here which I would more associate with autumn, this little section and even this one here, and potentially this one you can as well, you can use it to make quite a light eye look. I have made a very yellow one, a very like pastel-y green colour. You know, I have used those looks on my eyes and I definitely think it can be used for a springtime palette. But it is also one of those that you could sort of multitask and get away with in the autumn as well. It's just an absolutely stunning little palette and I love the formula of the chocolate ones from Iheart Revolution. Because of that, I do have 3 of the bigger chocolate ones that I think are perfect for springtime. So this is the Iheart Revolution Berry Meringue palette. I think I may have shown this one last year in my spring palettes. This is a very pink toned palette and I definitely associate springtime with like pinks, purples, pastel greens, yellows. So pinks are definitely a winner. Again, I love the Iheart Revolution chocolate palette formula. It's stunning and I like the mixture of mattes and shimmers in this palette, so that's a good one. Obviously with the Iheart Revolution chocolate palettes, some of them you can't always get. A lot of them I have got in like advent calendars or Christmas gift sets. So if you're ever intrigued by any of the chocolate ones that I show, sometimes they have good sales on their website where they have like the advent calendars or the past gift sets where they are on sale and you can get them a lot cheaper. Or sometimes TK Maxx does do the chocolate palettes. I found the blood chocolate one in there last year, which I was very happy about. The next one is the Iheart Revolution Honey Chocolate Palette. This one is usually always for sale on their website. I really love the packaging. It looks like honey dripping, doesn't it, down the chocolate. So this one I like because it has a range of yellows and pinks and also the odd greenier shade. So it's definitely, again, more on the springtime. The only thing with this one is they are pretty much all like shimmery shades. Like some of them are not full-blown metallic, they've just got like a shimmer to them, but they are shimmery. There's no matte shades in this palette. If you're not a fan of that, this one might not be for you, but I actually really enjoy a shimmer on the eye. I will quite happily use all shimmers and no mattes. So if you're like me, this one is a good one. And they also do their chocolate lip glosses. And there is a honeycomb one which I like to pair up with this palette. Lastly, out of the chocolate ones, I have the Iheart Revolution Ruby Coco Crumble. So this is the newer one I have in my collection. I got it from the advent calendar. Again, very, very pinky toned, but it has some golds in there and some more neutral tones. But I love this one. This has created so many gorgeous pink looks for me lately. I have really been digging this palette. This shade up here is called Unique, and I have to say it is my favourite shade out of the palette. I had a Kylie Cosmetics, I think it was Eye of the Storm, years and years ago, and it had a shade similar to that I burned through because I loved it so much. And I have never been able to find another shade like that since. I now have it and I love this. I will use this, just this one, and then I will use like a glittery liquid eyeshadow on top just to give like the eye a bit of dimension, but you know, nothing too heavy because I love that colour. So this is a great little palette, or big chocolate palette. I really enjoy it, and you do have a mixture of mattes and shimmers and even some like, this one sort of looks a bit like a full-on glitter, but it's not. It's kind of like a crumbly metallic shade, which can get a bit messy, but the look it creates is actually really pretty. So yeah, this is like, I think at the moment this is my favourite springtime palette. So if you had the advent calendar or you've seen it on sale, I would grab it just for this. Next up I have the Revolution and Friends Chandler palette. So this one is a bit more on the brighter side of spring, like they're a lot more vibrant, but you can also see that they could pastel down on the eye if you really wanted to. It also has the nice shimmer shades in here that work really, really well with the tones in this palette. I love this formula, and you know, I really like this palette. Out of all the Friends ones, this one and the Phoebe one has to be my favourite palette, but this one I think screams springtime to me. I like how you've got the darker blue and then you've got a lighter blue so you can pastel it out and make it more, you know, like a look for the beach kind of thing. And then with the shimmer shade, it's just great. It's perfection. So I really like this one. And lastly, it is a newer palette to my collection, and it is the Revolution x Nikki Lily palette. This one, yeah, definitely spring. It's got the yellow, it's got the pinks, it's got the blue, the green, the corals. Definitely more springtime. I really like this palette. I haven't used it as much as the Chandler one, just because although it was in my current shop, my stash, I've been using that pink chocolate one, the Ruby Coco Crumble. That one at the moment is my favourite, but this one is also a really good palette. So if you want to grab like a newer palette but you don't know what to get from Revolution, this one is definitely a good one for springtime looks. Although I think all the palettes I have mentioned today are brilliant for springtime. So yeah, that is all the palettes in my collection, my top 10 that I feel are great for spring eyeshadow looks. Obviously I try to do this once a year, so by next year I might have found new ones that I enjoy a lot more, or these ones might even crop up again. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Let me know down below, what are your favourite spring eyeshadow palettes? I would love to know. Are any of mine your favourite? Do you have different favourites that I need to try? Let me know, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.